Hey you guys, this is Renee from Bvlgari.com, and one of the things that I've noticed that a lot of people search for online is how to pronounce beauty brands, especially brands at Sephora. And a lot of them have been really confusing to me too. I mean, even as a blogger, there are so many brands that I still don't know how to pronounce. Like, for example, Omorovicza. It's Amorepacific. So I presume that's Amore, like that's Amore, the song. But it could be Amore Pacific for all I know. I don't know. Because the Sephora's we have don't carry the brand, and no department store near us, because we live like in BFE, don't carry the brand either. So I've never actually heard anyone say the brand name. So I've just continued to say Amore Pacific, but for all I know, I could be wrong. So if you know, please comment below and let me know. And there's other brands too that are just, I'm just going to go through the most popular that I've seen people search for at Sephora, because otherwise this video would be like 2 hours long, and then that would give Jerry a really bad headache having to edit the shit. So the first one is this. Now, if you want to get fancy and say it like the customer service people, then you say Yves Saint Laurent. But I don't like to sound snooty. I grew up in Iowa and I now live in the South, so I still like to sort of pronounce it right, but I pronounce the word saint even though it's supposed to be son or son. I say Yves Saint Laurent. So, it's halfway correct, halfway not, but at least people know what I'm saying, and I don't, or at least I hope I don't sound pretentious, but I'm not saying Yves Saint Laurent. I mean, I know that's wrong, so I just go with Yves Saint Laurent.
Stick with YSL.
Yeah, YSL, that's a good one. So the next one is this, the popular Asian brand of skincare and cosmetics. Now this I never had any problems with, I guess because I took Spanish, so it's pronounced, similar to Spanish words. It's Shiseido. But I did find out in looking up, the actual Japanese pronunciation of this word, when it's spelled in those Japanese characters, it's pronounced Shiseido. But this Americanized version, when you call their customer service people, it's Shiseido. And this one is another Asian confusing one. I used to say Koh Gen Do, that spa water, that really awesome, like micellar water type stuff that cleanses all your makeup off. They make some awesome stuff. But if you think about it, like this Gen, the reason I said Gen is because you see Gen X, Gen Y, you see this in the US. But then when I found out the pronunciation, Koh Gen Do. So the G, it's a hard G, like G. So if you think about it, like when you see Asian stuff, like those infomercials like Ginsu knives, it's not pronounced Jinsu. It's pronounced Ginsu. Or like, that stuff, you go see some guru on top of a hill like this, and they're smoking ganji. It's not pronounced Janji, it's ganji. So this is actually Koh Gen Do. Next one is a Belgian brand. It's Hungarian, not Belgian, it's Hungarian. And it is this brand. This is one of my favorite brands of skincare. It's really, really cool. It looks like it's Omorovicza, but when talking with their customer service, it's actually pronounced Omorovica. So this, like the C, and the C is pronounced like a T, and this I is pronounced like a long E, so it's Omorovica. So pretty nifty, huh? They make some really good stuff, like this plumping cream and thermal mask that's made based off of all this thermal spring water, like in Hungary, from their baths and stuff. Really good stuff. Next one, and this one kind of bugs me. When I first started seeing this brand, years and years and years ago, like when I was in elementary school or junior high or whatever, I thought it was Lorac. Looks like Lorac, right? And I thought that was really cool because one of my favorite Dr. Seuss movies or books is the Lorac. So I'm like, oh, cool, Lorac. I was wrong. The woman who founded the company, her name's Carol Shaw. And this name is actually her name, Carol, backwards. So she pronounces it Lorac. So that sounds a little bit pretentious and snooty, but it is her name and her name backwards. So I give her credit. She does get to choose how to pronounce it, but it does sound snooty. However, when I look at my name backwards, it's Einer. So I would probably be a little bit snooty by that too. If I was going to make a cosmetic brand that's spelled this way, I wouldn't want to say, oh, well, give me that Einer lipstick. I would want to say, oh, give me that Einer lipstick. Sounds much better, right? So I guess I need to stop picking on Ms. Shaw for her calling her brand Lorac. The next one that people have so many problems with is this. And of course, Laura, most people know Laura, but the last name is Mercier. This was always obvious to me. I don't know why, but apparently it's one of the most hard to pronounce words because it's Googled a lot. I don't know why, but to me, this just is never, it's always been a given that it's Laura Mercier. And so I must have heard it somewhere or something before I even, ever heard of the brand. I must have heard someone say it, and that's why it's always been, never a problem for me. The next one is this. This has been around a long time. They have like handbags, it's a designer brand, perfumes, that type of stuff. And people are like, oh, what is that? I don't know. They say, oh, I have this. It's called this perfume. And they don't say the name. They say it's Omni. Well, this, because it looks like a V, and it is spelled with a V, but it's actually pronounced like a U, and it's Bvlgari. Like Bvlgari. So very simple. You just got to remember that V is supposed to be like a U. So Bvlgari. Next one. This. So there's actually many videos of people going up to the store and, someone asking, how do you say the name of that store? At the storefront. Well, it looks like it's L'Occitane because of the A and the E, in the English language words. But it's actually, when we've gone into stores, I've heard it pronounced two ways. I've heard it pronounced L'Occitane and L'Occitane. So you can either go L'Occitane or L'Occitane, but it's not L'Occitane. So that sounds like some sort of acne medication or something. So next one is a French brand. This is one of my favorite fragrance brands, and they have some really awesome products. And if you spell it the way, the English language is pronounced, people say Guerlain, but that's not how it is. This A-I-N in French is pronounced on. So some people pronounce the U. When I've talked with people that work for the brand, some people do pronounce the U, some people don't. Some people say Guerlain or Guerlain or Guerlain. I've heard Guerlain only once, though, so that was probably wrong. It might have been a new person who has said Guerlain, but the most I've heard is Guerlain and Guerlain. So, next one is this popular Sephora brand. It looks like Ole Henrikser. This is a Norwegian brand, and it's actually Ula. So it's like ooh la la. So if you see like their logos, it's like ooh la ooh la. They put, so it's actually pronounced Ula. And this is, a lot of people say Henriksen, but if you look it up and look on their site, it's actually Ole Henrikser. And I used to pronounce it Ole Henrikser. And then the reason I started looking this up is because when we were at Sephora, one of the estheticians there, and she's actually, certified esthetician, was talking about Ole Henrikser. So I looked that up, and sure enough, she was correct. It was Ole Henrikser. And then the next one is this. This is the word anyway. It really irks me when I hear people saying anyways, or, on videos, people are like, anyways. There is no S. Do you see this? There is no such word as anyways. It's just anyway. Look it up in the dictionary. Quit saying anyways because there's no freaking S. There's no such word. So it's just anyway. So anyway, I'm going to move on to the next one. This brand, I've known of this brand since I was a kid. Very respectable brand. And I used to say Lancome, but I've heard it's Lancome, so I'm fine with that. That's all right. The worst butchering I've had was I heard someone say Lancome. So I don't know, that sounds like some sort of weird, skin cancer or something. But it's Lancome or Lancome, but, I guess most people say Lancome that work at the counters. And then last but not least, we have this. When I first saw this brand, I thought it was like Boscia, but turns out it's more simple than that. It's just Boscia. So it's, or Boscia, but the SCIA is Sha. So Boscia. So there's a lot more that I know that I've heard of and that I'm actually curious about. So if you know of any, that are hard to pronounce that you've recently found, or, ones that you're trying to pronounce, or, any suggestions for me, I like to know my names and pronounce them right. So comment below, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you on our next video.